Welcome to KCS Coder. Today we will be unboxing this treasure from 1984, still complete in its blister. It's the KCS Speedloader cartridge for the Commodore 64. Motherfucker! Now most people in the Netherlands and the western part of Germany are familiar with the KCS Power Cartridge, the red one. This one is its predecessor by about 2 years or a year and a half. And KCS still exists to this day. They make Internet of Things stuff to track, for example, packages. KCS stands for Kolf Computer Supplies. Now, it is a Dutch company. They're located in Dordrecht, about 30 kilometers from here. And Kolf is actually written in the German way, so maybe they're from German descent. And cool enough, actually they assembled every one of these cards and packaged them in their own workshop in Dordrecht. Now usually back in the 80s everybody would just outsource to Hong Kong or Taiwan, remember, made in Taiwan, made in Hong Kong, and get them pre-packaged, pre-assembled and just distribute them. So that was some love and labor. And I still see that today they still assemble electronics, which is kind of cool. And brilliant that a company that started making little accessories for the little 80s micros is still around today. So let's take this to the bench, let's get a camera on top and take its virginity. We're going to open it up and sniff that sweet, sweet air of 1984. Back when we were still normal people. So here it is, close up. Yeah, it is a bit yellowed. And yeah, it is brittle and it's broken here and there. So we did lose that sweet, sweet air of 1984. But yeah, it is old. But it is in there. And yeah, it is brittle. This polyethylene stuff is not UV treated. So it gets very, very brittle and yellow. And that is the whole reason. So let's stick our finger in there and take its virginity. Oh yes, moving around it. Oh, I'm so excited, you wouldn't believe it. I think what they did was actually create a wooden bug with this cartridge shape and the leaflet shape, and then vacuum formed it. And then stuck that vacuum form onto this back cardboard panel. Yeah, it is brittle like I said, and there it is. From 1984. Look at the tines of the cartridge, very, very silver, no oxidation. I don't know what this switch is. Yeah, I did find out, it actually says so, and that is the infamous reset switch. That switch actually turns the cartridge on and off, the tumble switch. Now this is the booklet. Yeah, this is actually copied. Now a lot of these commands are really, really cool. They are in Dutch, unfortunately. So commandos, commands. So we have all these. But I was really interested here in the text assembler, because I used the power cartridge mainly to write assembly code back in the day. And yeah, that was a bit of a hassle. So I wonder if this will actually help me. Yeah, and of course the disassembler, etc. Now let's have a look at the documentation. Yes, it is in Dutch, unfortunately, and here you see Kolf Computer Supplies, Kolf with double F, typical German way of writing it. So insert the PCB into the right slot. We wouldn't call this a PCB, but a cartridge. Okay, then turn on the computer and the menu will appear. The menu of the Speedloader will appear on the screen. Okay, well, we can do that. I really like this feature, the auto. Now, the auto increment will actually allow you to automatically increment the line numbers. And you start from 10 and you increment by 5, for example, here. Auto 10,5 will start at 10 and will increment by units of 5 lines. So that is really convenient. And I didn't know that actually my power cartridge also has this command, as well as the renum command that we will visit later on. Here is that renum command, so you can renumber starting at 50 with increments of 5. So that is really nice to reorder your program numbers. And delete here, you can actually delete a range, which is very convenient because you used to have to otherwise enter a 1400 enter, 1410 enter, 1430 enter, etc. to clean it. Now you can just do del from 1000 dash and it will actually clean everything from 1000, or del 1000 to 1400 and it will actually remove all those lines. So this is really powerful for basic. Now you can also find a string within your basic program, which can be convenient. And you can dump all the used single dimensional variables, which is also a very powerful feature. And that is also in the power cartridge. Repeat, so you can repeat certain key presses or for all the keys on the Commodore 64. A bit unusable for me, I think. And the unnew. I wasn't aware this was even possible. I often had that you accidentally type new and you were like, oh shit, I wanted that program. You type unnew and it's back. So yeah, all the copy commands, etc, etc, etc. So I actually scanned this document and it's on my GitHub. Yes, it is in Dutch, so you will need Google Translate to do it, or to read it. If you're not able to read Dutch, of course that is. But most people are able to read Dutch. At least over here. Now the beep command is fascinating. It will actually allow each key that you press to have a beep heard. So basically make it a typewriter. And you can stop it with run, stop, restore, which basically resets the whole cartridge. Now hex, so you can convert a decimal number to hexadecimal, which is really convenient. I always had a calculator laying around when I programmed in the 80s. And similarly from hexadecimal to decimal, also great. And we have the color command and the kill M. Later on I find out why I need to run the kill M command. But the color is really nice. It's easier than remembering the 53280 and 53281, etc. And the kill command, yes. Well, we visit that later on. And here we have the assembler that pretty much looks like we did it back with the power cartridge. You just give the address and you type the instruction, always in hex with 2 digits. Otherwise it doesn't work. Cannot interpret it then, which is a bit of a pity. But yeah, that looks pretty much the same as it does with the power cartridge. Yeah, and the rest really looks similar to the Power Monitor 2 that I used with the power cartridge. So let's put it in and see what happens. Now usually I use the power cartridge image that is on the Ultimate 2. Hence I thought I still had the red power cartridge, but obviously I don't, because I can't find it anywhere, and otherwise it would be here. So let's put this in and turn it on. See what happens. So it's in and there it is. We see all the commands, but it definitely looks different. What a difference a year makes, right? So let's go through the commands. First that beep thing. I hear a duck, but it's really soft. Run, stop, restore, and it's back to normal. That's the auto numbering. That looks like a really cool feature. Yeah, that's working. Let's renumber this, starting from 100 with 10 interval. That works. Which is really cool. If your program is done, then you can start with just single line increments. The new command, oops, I destroyed my enormously long program. And then we could do unnew. Ah, thank goodness, it's still there and it works. That is a nice feature. Yeah. We had decimal, so D20. Yep. D20. We all know what that is. 53280. And then let's do this. Should be 21. D021. Yeah. Cool. That makes life a lot easier. I like those commands, to be honest. But now the big one, the assembler. The problem is that they say dot this little round thing. I had no idea what this little round thing is, and here it says little round thing means alphanumeric sign at. So let's try that. Dot at. I don't see that working. Oh, I need to do this. So you start the monitor with the strange command kill :m. I would have used run :m, but hey. Alright, then we are in the assembler. We can disassemble, say from 4000 to 4008. So we have the disassembly there. And we can assemble by saying A. We start at 4000 and we do load immediate value 00. What comes behind the colon is considered nothing, remark. And there you see it will assemble it to A900. That is indeed LDA 00. Let's make a little program, increment $D20. You cannot use decimal addresses. It will not convert it. So it's really a limping assembler. Increment $D21. Okay, yes. I do like that we automatically calculate, of course. That's the least you could expect. And we will jump back to $4002. So the infamous flashing of the border and the background color. Okay, let's press enter. We go out and we can run this with G. So go to 4000. So we first set, well, this useless thing doesn't really do anything, but and there we go. Yes. Now you cannot stop this. You can do run, stop, and restore, and then you can go to kill M, but it's not there anymore. So then you click on the reset button, and that will keep the memory intact. That is the whole reason of a reset. So if we disassemble again 4000 to 4008, we will see our load A with 0, increment foreground color, increment background color, and jump back there. So the assembler is very similar to the power cartridge. And yeah, all these interrogate, etc. They're pretty much the same as you get with most monitors. Now what I was hoping was the text assembler. I figured this is a true text assembler. But what this does is it will merely say, if we do add, where's the add sign? There. And then 4000. And I need to add a single quote in there. Hello world. And ignore the rest. It will just fill out that string, which is convenient if you need to write strings into memory. But yeah, that is the text assembler. I was hoping that it was more like a basic thing that you would write in BASIC and then assemble it. That's not the case. But other than that, yeah, it is a kind of a cool cartridge. And the first in the Netherlands. Now the assembler in this is not very different from what we had with the KCS. Wrong button. This one, yeah. We go all the way to the monitor. Here you go. And there it was the same LDA. Oh, $02. There you go. Although here you already see the registers, which is more convenient in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much the same. We can do the same program here. $D20. Oh. Increment the background color and jump to $4002. I don't need this command in the first case because we will just increment it. It's just a testing command for me. Okay, so and we do go 4000 and it will do the same thing. So this isn't necessarily an improvement because the assembler, the text assembler only assembles really the text. And not really worth the hassle. So you definitely see an improvement with this cartridge. And I'm so accustomed to this because I programmed in this for a year and a half before I had an actual assembler. But yeah, this is a nice piece of nostalgia. I'm curious if we can open it up and dump the ROM. And yes, we could easily open it up. And it's a really simple PCB. It's double-sided, of course. There's not even a socket in there, so... Do I want to risk actually desoldering this to actually dump it? I don't think so. I'm sure somebody else already did that. But yeah, this is it. It's really truly a simple PCB. I do like that on-off switch. That is a nice feature. So there you have it. The KCS disc Speedloader from 1984 finally lost its virginity. It got ripped out of the package and shoved right in to the Commodore 64 and just did its thing like no day had passed since. Now I find it interesting because I'm only familiar with the KCS Power Cartridge, the red one. And the way how I obtained it was I borrowed the C64 from my cousin and it already had the KCS Power Cartridge in it. So basically I only used it to speed load and to learn to write assembly. And hence I wrote assembly in that monitor for a year and a half before I finally found that there are actually assembler programs that make life so much easier. But yeah, I wrote in that KCS Power Cartridge assembly for a year and a half. But I never was aware of all the cool basic commands. And all the commands, or pretty much all the commands, the beep doesn't work. But the auto, the renumber, the unew, they also apply all to the more commonly known KCS Power Cartridge. So hence I scanned this document and put it online for prosperity's sake, so link in the description. It is in Dutch, so you will need to Google translate it. But yeah, maybe you can find some stuff and use it, and maybe someday I will get the nerve to unsolder the ROM, figure out what ROM it is, and then dump it and also put it on there, but I'm not making any guarantees. But I do love this thing, even though it's quirky and not as sophisticated as his newer, younger brother. But younger brothers are always cooler than the older brothers, that's just the thing. So yeah, I hope you learned something and see you in the next one. Oh, that smell of leaded fuel from the 1984. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I wish we could go back to 1984.